Well, this just in out of college hoops. What an upset in the SEC tournament semifinal. Down goes Auburn. Miles Kelly with a missed three with Auburn down 5 as Tennessee rebounds, and the Vols get the win and are now headed to the SEC title game to face the winner of Alabama, Florida. 70-65 is your final score as the Vols are headed to the title game. Meanwhile, the #1 team in the nation, Auburn, suffers their 3rd loss in 4 games. For much more on this one, let's welcome you inside our CBS Sports HQ studios. I'm Jordan Giorgio alongside BJ Taylor. Let's start with your biggest takeaway after this one.
Tennessee is for real. Plain and simple. That's where we have to start at. The Tennessee Volunteers are for real. If you recall, Jordan, a month or so ago, I wasn't very high on Tennessee. I didn't think that they could make a very deep run in the tournament because I felt that they did not get enough production offensively outside of Chaz Lanier. Tennessee, as of late, is starting to figure some things out on that end of the floor, and you got to start with Zakai Ziegler, the reigning defensive SEC Player of the Year, 2-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year, now becoming more of an offensive threat in terms of scoring the basketball. He's always been able to set up his teammates. He's always been a terrific floor general. Now he's getting in the paint, and he's throwing these rondo ball fakes, and he's getting these floaters off. He's knocking down shots from the outside. Just Zakai Ziegler has full control of the game, as well as Tennessee's starting to get bench production. They got 25 points from their bench today, led by Jordan Gady's 15. If you're Tennessee and you're Rick Barnes, this is exactly how you want to be playing this time of year, because they're still playing stingy defense. They made it really, really tough on everybody outside of Janai Broome to consistently find good offense. Tennessee and Rick Barnes have figured out their recipe for success. I would expect them, no matter who comes out of the winner of Florida, Alabama, I would be rolling with Tennessee right now because I've been really, really impressed by what I've seen from Zakai Ziegler in that backcourt, taking control of things, taking the reins, being the leader that they need him to be. Tennessee on a great track.
Tennessee, the real deal, according to our own BJ Taylor. You know, that's interesting, too, because I was going to ask you if this situation, this outcome, was more of Auburn losing the game rather than Tennessee winning it. But you believe the Vols are for real.
Tennessee dictated this game. They led for the majority of the game. They led for about 3/4 of this game. Tennessee really imposed their will on the Auburn Tigers. You know, on Auburn's side of things, the biggest trouble that they're having is it's becoming very evident that if they play through Janai Broome, he'll be productive. But opposing teams are starting to say, look, let Janai get his. We can't let the other players on the floor get off right. So we can't let Chad Baker-Mazara get his. We can't allow Tahad Pettiford or Chaney Johnson to have a good day, right? And Auburn has been a group, when they were at their best in January and early February, they could rely on their bench. They got some of the best bench production of any team in college basketball. On average, between Tahad Pettiford and Chaney Johnson, 2 guys who've been coming off the bench for the majority of the season, they were getting about 20 points per game between those 2 guys. Today, only 3 bench points for the Auburn Tigers. 3. Tahad Pettiford and Chaney Johnson combined to go about 1 of 12 from the field. Okay, that's not what they need. Tahad Pettiford is a double-digit scorer all season long. He averages nearly 11 points per game. He was the microwave off that bench for that team. He was instant offense. He hasn't been that as of late. Auburn struggled yesterday against Ole Miss when it came to scoring the basketball. This is their 2nd day in a row. They've shot below 30% from the 3-point line. Okay, this is not the Auburn Tigers team we saw earlier in the year. So what's the remedy? What's the fix? A psychological reset. Okay, they have got to get in that locker room and they have got to sit down and talk. Real conversation.
So is the bright spot here that they did get the loss and they will have some time?
The bright spot is now Auburn should be able to take sort of a the world is against us approach. Okay, for all season they've been getting their flowers about, well, you're the #1 team in the country and you might have the Naismith Player of the Year in Janai Broome, and there's no more complete team in college basketball. Well, now you've lost 3 of your last 4 games, and most of the pundits, myself, the other college basketball pontificators around the country are going to say, yeah, Auburn's not playing well, and I wouldn't expect Auburn to win the national championship with the way they've been playing. If you're in that locker room, now all of a sudden you have an underdog mentality, if you can believe it or not, right? You're going to say the world is against us. Nobody thinks we can win now because we haven't been winning as of late. Somebody in that locker room, Bruce Pearl, is going to have to get to those guys and say, look.
Or this graphic alone, I mean, take a look at that note. How hungry are you after seeing no team has ever lost 3 of its last 4 games prior to the NCAA tournament and then have gone on to actually win the NCAA tournament? So all odds right now really are against them, BJ.
Yep.
It's very concerning, actually. And what is your level of concern?
Oh, it's high. It's high because this is not the Auburn team that we've seen for the majority of the season. And I'm not a believer in, you lose early. Well, now you get some rest before the NCAA tournament starts. No, as a player, you want to win at each and every single game. So do coaches, right? The only thing Auburn can take from this loss is that mental reset of, look, guys, almost like when Ohio State lost to Michigan in the season finale in football, right? They were able to reset their minds and they had a little bit of motivation, extra motivation going in to make their run towards a national championship. Auburn is going to have to take a page out of the Ohio State book if they want to make a run into the Final Four, because that's the standard for this Auburn team. The standard is winning a national championship. With the year they've had, being in the SEC, this is a historic year for the SEC, potentially going to get 13 or 14 bids into the NCAA tournament. And if you're Auburn, you've been the premier team all season long. Nobody has questioned who the best team is in the best conference. It's been Auburn. So national championship is the only expectation that anyone has in the Auburn community and in the college basketball community. And if they come up anything short of that,
disappointment.
It will be a disappointment. I won't call the season a failure.
Okay, not a season of failure.
A Final Four appearance is not a failure for Auburn, but it would be a disappointment if they don't win the national championship.
Okay, but to put your player cap on here, failure to them, or they're right?
Absolutely. If you're a player, they want to win the national championship because, like I said, they've been the best team in the SEC all year long. Their only thought process has been, we are a national championship team. We are the premier team in college basketball. They've heard the rumblings about Duke. They've heard how Houston has come on strong as of late in the Big 12. Auburn wants to prove that they are the best team in college basketball. They have a chance to do it starting next week, but they cannot perform the way they've been performing as of late. They've got to be better offensively, because they're putting way too much pressure on their defense to hold teams under 60 points per game. You're not going to do that in March. Teams are going to score. Teams are going to get hot. They have got to get back to moving that basketball, getting it popping, getting downhill, getting to the rim, making plays as a unit, and not relying so much on just, we're going to go to Janai Broome and hopefully he can carry us there.
Right now, as it stands currently, Auburn is on that top line, according to our own Jerry Palm. Should they fall off?
No, Auburn's solidified. They're stapled. They're in permanent ink.
That was a quick response.
Absolutely,
You're very confident in that.
100%. Okay. Auburn's not moving. The Sharpie marker, whatever you want to say, a tattoo on your chest, it's not coming off. All right. Auburn will be the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Duke, with the injury to Cooper Flagg, regardless of what happens tonight in the ACC championship game, they'll remain a 1 seed, as well as Houston. The only real question we have left is who will be the last 4 seed. Will it be Alabama or Florida? We may have a chance to find that out here in a couple hours. The winner of that game most likely works their way onto the 1 seed line.
We will. It's going to be fun. All right, with that, we will leave it there as Tennessee gets a big win over #1 Auburn, now headed to the SEC title game to face the winner of either Alabama, Florida. A reminder, our Selection Sunday show coverage begins 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on CBS, or you can stream on Paramount+.